Sound testing.
Here we go.
Feeling good. All right, we're
That fixes everything.
check. Oh, was it?
Go ahead and start that song over and let's check out that mic check again.
Don't worry.
I'm
It's
so
similar.
fucking itchy. I don't know why.
Dude, it's because your beard's been looking really clean and really nice. I like it. I'm about to shave mine off into a really dirty PE teacher stash.
Yeah, are you? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
because it's getting too hot, and I have like weird patches that grow shorter than others, and I can feel them, and therefore the shorter patches I get aggressive and I pick at them and I make them into bald patches, and then I just look like a weird, sketchy homeless person after a while. So that's why the PE stash and the 5 o'clock shadow is my next goal. But so we're just joking around, doing a little sound check. We're 40 seconds in. Colton, say a few words. Stop
my
it.
God.
myself up on that
You
so
keep
many times.
hitting that.
Dude, in the last episode, I jumped up and went like this. Dude, my knee is still bruised from that. It's
Oh
like a
my
little swing.
God.
I went like this and hit it and just silently, like,
He
dramatically
looks
collapsed.
I know, he knows better. And I'm gonna stop at this. Stop.
And
We are sound checking again. Austin, you want to switch places and see how you and I both sound?
You said I was in the captain's
Do
seat
you want to run
tonight.
the captain's seat
I'll
in
be
this
in the
episode?
captain's
I
seat.
love it. Hell yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah, I
Get
love
out!
that.
Get out from behind your
yeah.
little curtain. Think you're the wizard of everything?
I am the fucking wizard.
Wizards
But
have war hair.
I asked Austin to join me. He did, and he's been joining me every Tuesday. And I asked him to co-host, and he accepted. And so Austin, this is Austin's podcast with me, and I'm changing the name, by the way. We are changing the name. I'm
what?
changing it to, instead of the Pacific Experience podcast, it's going to be the Pacific Experience podcast with Austin and Lloyd.
Oh!
Or Lloyd and Austin. I think Lloyd and Austin flow better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. LA?
Yeah.
LA!
Oh my
Ah.
God.
Pack. It's gonna be the Pack X podcast with Lloyd and Austin.
You don't know us, but we're pretty awesome.
Pack X.
We
Yeah.
do.
I haven't introduced my name in the whole thing till like episode 6.
Oh.
I didn't even say who I was, and it was from you being like, yeah, so you were telling a story, and you're like, so I'm Lloyd. And some people mentioned my names before.
I'm sorry.
No, that I wanted. I was letting
Okay.
it flow. I was like, when I want to introduce I didn't know how
Here
this
it
was
is.
gonna go yet, and now I'm like, no.
I
this is
forced
it.
to welcome that.
You and I are doing it. Yeah, you and I are doing this podcast now, and it's actually happening. And now it's like, yes, with Lloyd and Austin. I didn't know how it was gonna go yet. I didn't know if I was gonna be like some dirty motherfucker, or I didn't know if I was gonna start just talking about movies and just have it be like.
You'd
a
hear the
podcast or talk
crinkling
about
of like
food. I had
ice.
no clue.
Ice and like it'd be like vodka on ice, but it'd be like smeared off in a glass, and you're like got cigarette breath, and you're just like clicking it around
Yes.
at a deep point in your life. No, we're so positive. God damn, we radiate like goldness and sunshine and rainbows. I don't know. I feel really good.
Yes.
Remember, we see the same people we see in high school, and I think out of the 99%, we're in the top 0.5% of people that are taking their lives and chasing what they fucking want. It's odd. It's really weird to see all those kids that went to, like I got a scholarship for sports and I'm going to study medicine, and you did that for 2 years, and then, some of it was learning. We got to give it to them. Like, they fucking learned. But then you got to think about the naivety of where they acted like, I don't know, I'm being judgmental, egotistical assholes, but they talked all this talk. It happened. And then they landed back in their hometown, living with their parents, serving. And what do now? They just drink and get stoned. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're a productive, like, drinker and stoner every day, nobody can come against you. But when you are just who you are, and like, dude, we're almost into our 10-year reunion. Yeah, dude.
No, it's fucking crazy.
You're eating French fries, fucking playing Fortnite all the time, trying to stream, and you're not good at it. And then you go back to your job at the Harvester, like from an off shift, and you're driving your mom's car. That's odd when you end up at a place where you see people, and they are like, Lloyd has made himself a self-made man through fucking hard work and determination, which is the American dream. And you don't have to do it with a college education. Listen here. youngins, all you gotta do is have a really hard work ethic and understand that failure is a part of success. And throughout the road of success are many littered bodies, but honestly, just keep on moving forward and you're gonna make it. And with that, as the beautiful slow jazz kicks in, this is Pacific Xperience podcast, man. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, here we are, episode motherfucking 10. This is episode 10. Pack X is with you. You are with Pack X. Thank you so much to everyone out there who has tuned in, who supported us, given us those likes, the responses. Thank you for downloading us. Thank you for tuning in. We are so excited, and this is episode 10. Woo! This is episode 10. This is Pacific Xperience podcast. This is where we talk about our experiences in the Pacific Northwest, and that is what we're all about. And so we're going to take off here. Again, right now the date is what? It's June 19th. It's June 19th. Right now we're going on what? 9 o'clock, almost 10 o'clock here in Washington State or Oregon State or Canada, wherever you like. But we are in the Pacific Northwest. So, I am Lloyd Smith and
we got a friend here.
Yeah, we have a friend joining us, but I'm Lloyd Smith, and also we have with us
Austin Davis. Here and alive. I've not yet died. Another week survived.
No, and in fact, we're going to be changing the name. We're going to be saying something like Pack X Podcast with Lloyd and Austin or something like that. But go ahead and send us your comments, whatever. Let us know what you think. But we do have someone special with us. Who's with us here is a very good friend of mine. He's got one hell of a story. Most of you who are listening and who know us, know me by friend, definitely or probably know this guy for sure. But here he is. His name is Colt. I like to call him Colt motherfucking 45. Colt 45.
Hey.
What's up, man?
Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice being here. Nice being involved with this project you guys got going on. This is pretty cool.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Listen here and there, and I shamelessly promote you guys. Like, I bug the crap out of everybody I know. And
Dude, we love people that promote us. We'll bring you on the show.
We appreciate that, dude. That's
right
what it's all about. That's what we need help with, is promoting. And to us listeners out there, if you guys dig this, promote it. That helps us. Give us those stars, those thumbs up, whatever the fuck it can be. We appreciate you. Oh, and speaking of, I have some goodies. We are going to be starting a little subscription to where you can sign up to us and get some emails sent to you in regards to the latest and greatest stuff coming out. What comes with that is also some t-shirts and some stickers. So just whatever, go ahead and send us your information. You can reach out to us at pacificxperience@gmail.com. By the way, experience is spelled without the E in the front.
And wait, did you say you're making shirts?
Yeah. Well,
all right.
I mean, I just jacked a bunch of shirts from Goodwill, so I figured
Dude, that's
I was like,
honestly,
I'll pay in. Like, I want a shirt. Like, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just something that I'd like to start with because what I'm going to be doing here is we're going to be having some premium content come out, so you can purchase it. And so if we're going to be having stuff that you can purchase, I definitely want to give back and make something out of it. But we'll see. Maybe not. I have no fucking clue. We'll see how it fucking goes. But Cole, you just went through a lot of traveling, man, and you're back here in the Pacific Northwest. But you left the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
How was it, man?
Which part? As far as traveling goes, I suggest no one ever takes the fucking bus. Greyhound is.
The bus,
oh my god!
You might as well
Greyhound
Fred
is
Flintstone
horrible.
your ass,
It's like a moving homeless alley.
It is. It really is. I went out to smoke a cigarette in Portland at the bus stop, and I thought I was gonna get HIV just by standing there. Like, there's like
so
20
many
homeless
odd
people. Like,
and if you have to ride the bus for a long time, you're just on the stationary block that picks up like a massive amount of eclectic human beings.
yeah, and I tried to get back into the building, and the security guard locked it on me. I'm sitting there banging on the door. I got locked out of the bus station. I'm like, no, don't leave me out here, man.
Dude, I've seen some crazy people come up. Dude, I was traveling from Southern California to Washington, and I had to get to LAX. I was in Southern California. I had to get to LA to get to the airport, and so I had to take a couple buses and trains and subways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on one of the subways, So I get on, and I'm sitting there going, and this dude comes up. This guy comes up. And he's got long dreads, and he's wearing like all white, and he's talking really fast. And he's talking about how he's selling these pencils. He's got all these colorful pencils, man. Look at these colorful pencils, man, and they're really colorful.
And they're all really sharp.
Erasers. Yeah. It's the best of the best of pencils, man. And he's got erasers, and he's walking back and forth, up and down, screaming, 50 cents. 50 cents, alright, 25 cents. Going for 25 cents. We come to a stop, and I'm like, please, God, get it, because I still have like 8 stops. And every stop, I go and check my phone on the little like website I have down. And so I basically I keep checking as if every time I check, I'm gonna be like 2 or 3 stops away, but every time I'm still 9 stops away. And then 8 stops away. I'm like, damn it, get there. So this guy's going back and forth screaming, 25 cents. Okay, I might even take a dime. I might even consider a dime. And then he starts walking back and forth. So I'm like, please get off, because I can't move. When it comes to a stop, he gets off. I'm like, thank God. Now, mind you, the 300-pound person that's behind me, that like having a breathing attack. I'm wondering if I should call 911 or say something. No, they're just breathing. And I'm like, do you need help? Like bro,
Breathing
do you want water? I got water, man. Like, I have a McChicken in my bag, but I don't think you need that. But I kind of think you do. Like, I don't know what will be more rude, offering it to you or not offering it to you at this point. So mind you, that's going on at the same time. We take off, fast forward about 15 minutes of me sitting there uncomfortably, just keep checking my phone, like, no, I'm going to be there any minute.
You make buses sound terrible.
Oh, dude, the subway.
Never want, subways and buses, just don't do it.
We get, the subway slows down, we get to the next stop. It slows down, the doors open, same guy walks in. Same guy gets on the bus. I'm like, Howard, or on the subway. This thing about, all right, now I got 50 cent pencils. They're nice and shiny. Starts walking in. At this point, I'm like, did I take something?
Yeah.
Am I tripping now?
No, that's totally logical.
Am I tripping? And then
I
look up at the digital letters up on the screen, seeing where we're at, and it says.
They start flying off. Into more of this guy.
Yeah, it says Canton. Yeah. No, it says Compton. I'm like, oh, I'm in Compton. Okay. And that's when I'm still realizing, I still have to somehow contact a taxi. By the way, everyone, this is before Uber. This is also before like mind you, smartphones were new. I had the Samsung one, like the first one, the Galaxy. You know, and the fact that you could go on the fucking internet in your pocket was amazing.
Oh my God,
yeah,
I remember that. That was awesome.
God. And I wanted an iPhone, but I couldn't get an iPhone because I had T-Mobile, and the guy's like, well, we have a Galaxy. I was like, what the fuck is a Galaxy?
Oh my God, Lloyd, get a hold of yourself.
Galaxy.
What the fuck is a Galaxy?
Yeah. What?
It's okay. We had to edit, and we may have enjoyed ourselves a little too much before the podcast. It was funny, but now we're back. So let's talking about when he was having to get from Compton to a place in California, and you had the first iPhone, and we were talking about how you all are spoiled bitches for having these fancy phones that connect to everything and your biometrics and your hormone levels.
Like, what the fuck is a Galaxy, man?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is a Galaxy? And then I got the Galaxy, and where I was, I remember after I got off the bus, this is previously maybe like a year before this story I was telling you about the fucking crazy guy with the dreads for the pencils for sale. Yeah, I got off the bus in California, and I remember I pulled my phone out of my pocket, and I went and checked Facebook, and I was like, holy shit, that was fucking cool. Also just got Facebook at the time. Yeah. Good old stuff, but anyways, I just think we were playing the podcast backwards. So
you should listen to it backwards.
Yeah.
It's actually fairly entertaining.
Yeah, well, you could listen to everything backwards, dude. I've listened to a few records backwards. Kind of trippy, kind of weird.
Anyways, one topic that we wanted to talk about here, we wanted to blow some fucking minds.
Yes.
Minds, as in brains, by the way, not minds. Like, you know.
Sweep it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Brush it under the rug?
I don't know.
No, we're here to teach some fucking knowledge.
Yeah,
I
we
agree
want
with
to
that.
teach some knowledge. We want to learn some shit. So teach us some shit. So, you know what? I'm just going to bring something to the table. Y'all
Pop it
can
up.
look at it, you can take a bite, you can nibble it, you can push it aside, you can whatever, you can throw it at the wall, you can stuff down your pants, whatever the fuck you want to do with it. But, dude, I just listened to the JRE. Austin, I know you love Joe Rogan.
God damn, I
You
do.
love the Joe Rogan Experience, right? His podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cole, are you familiar with it?
I'm not actually. This is the
But
most.
you like Joe Rogan.
I like Joe Rogan.
Who doesn't like Joe Rogan? If there's someone out there who doesn't like Joe Rogan, you're automatically like, whoa, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's kind of how I view
You
it
must
too.
party with like paint cans and shit and like hang out in your room by yourself.
No, you like people that are very like constrained and comfortable. Maybe that's a little encompassing. I honestly think that people are just afraid to being open to obviously newer trains of thought.
Open to
It's
something
not saying
that
being
doesn't
open to everything and anything.
Make them comfortable.
There
if
is
you
a
can't
point to
agree
that
with.
though. I mean, there's a point to where you can say open to anything and everything that makes everything too amoebic and doesn't. There's no
Whoa,
more
what the fuck
foundation
does
or
that mean?
structure. I'm saying it's too loose. Like
Okay.
when you're saying be open to anything and everything, and I definitely feel that can translate and become with newer generations. Quick thing to note is that just cultural boundaries. Look at cultural boundaries from when we grew up. We grew up in the 90s, where divorce was now becoming something that was sort of open.
Right.
People began to realize that if you're not happy with somebody, sticking it out just for the kids is not actually the best option. And I think as a kid from divorce, and a lot of people, but like when you learn about your own self-awareness and self-happiness and how if those things don't correlate, if you're in a relationship, it actually refracts into something that if you have spouses, they pick up on. So therefore, unhappy parents that are sticking it out for the kids. The kids really focus on and remember a lot of the instances that were like due to fighting, awkward. It was just tension.
No, that's complete honesty, right?
Yeah, and it sort of becomes the norm. It really becomes the norm that they
Then-
think that's normal.
Exactly, and then they move on, have kids, and we're fucking up more and more down the road.
Well, and I think it also makes it harder to understand what is comfortable, what is healthy, happy, and it relatively should be easy. I mean, I don't think it's naive to say that if you're in a comfortable, healthy, happy relationship, the amount of compromise happening, you guys should never have arguments. I don't think that's far-fetched to say.
I don't know about
If
that.
that fits well enough, there'll be disagreements, but I don't feel that
Argument, yeah.
you coming to a point where like neither is satisfied and you can't come back to that subject and because you fear it will have another argument. It's like you can't settle it.
Yeah, I think one has to reach a spiritual level first with themselves, I think, before they can reach a spiritual level of agreement in a relationship. Before you can have a happy agreement in a partnership, you have to have a happy agreement with yourself.
Yeah,
with your
absolutely.
conscious self first.
Oh.
If you're not already like, for example, if you already don't know how to keep your cool by yourself about the traffic, or about spilling your coffee on yourself, or whatever the fuck, like your own opinions about shit, then you're gonna do the same thing in a relationship. You're gonna take it out on your partner when you have a hard day at work or whatever the fuck it may be. And so that's ultimately with anything. Before you can take on any other task, especially when you're committing to another human being, whether it be a relationship or having a kid or even having a fucking dog, having a pet, you gotta make sure that yourself is in check first.
I'll give you that. I have a little bit different opinion on that. That was that was
I've
wonderful.
been working that all
Oh my
fucking
god!
day, dude.
Like 30 minutes ago you
Have
said
you guys
you had
seen
to
me
fart.
walk to the
Like,
fucking window
that was,
like
that
6
was
times?
bad.
Like I've walked to the window like this is it. This is the moment.
Hoping.
I'm like, damn it, it's
Oh.
not happening yet. I just sat down and it was like, nope. I'm sorry, man. I felt it come. I was like, I'm not gonna hold it back.
But I got into arguments with my wife and sat there, and the first argument we ever got in, some song came on the radio halfway through to the point where it almost became an argument, and then the song came on and we just looked at each other and started laughing. And that's actually, I think, the next day I proposed.
Really?
I'm
That's
dead
amazing.
serious. So
Do you mind filling us in? Do you mind filling us the listeners in? You don't know.
Where do you want me to start?
Where do you wish? Brother?
So I got married to my middle school sweetheart, actually, or not really sweetheart, but she finally
Like crush?
allowed me to go out on a date with her. She wouldn't give me the time of day in middle school or high school, and so I finally convinced her to go on a date, and we decided to keep going. And I think 2 weeks after we got together, I proposed.
Yeah.
I was following the age-old adage: if you like it, put a ring on it.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. You're mine now. And
How old were you?
24.
Oh, for some reason I thought like you were talking about you were still in middle school when you proposed.
No.
You're a bold sixth grader. Holy shit!
Got a 401k by 7th grade.
Listen, baby.
Boss ready to retire
We get a
at
job
age
with the
32.
union, welders union, down in Bremerton.
No.
I joined the army at
tell you
13.
what.
I went
That's awesome,
to
though.
work up the hill both
For that
ways.
long,
So-
from knowing her that long, damn.
Yeah, and what's funny is so we were together for almost 5 years.
Like
4
married?
years. No, we were just engaged.
Okay.
And then I was complaining about how much I wanted a vacation from work, and that I was just going to take 7 days off in a row. And my boss
Sounds nice.
actually looked at me and said, "You should." And we sat down and actually scheduled out 7 days for my vacation. And after I found out I had 7 days off in a row, I called Shara and was like, "Hey, so I've got this 2 weeks of vacation in like 3 weeks. You just want to get married on the 1st? And that's the start of my vacation. We'll just get married on that day." So mind you, I've got 3 weeks to prepare for a wedding.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Actually, it ended up pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
I was surprised.
Looked like
But so we got married, and then a month and 18 days later, after we got married, I mean, it was a very, very happy house. But she died November 18th. Well, and you know, stuff happens, and I understand that. It sucks, so yeah. After that, I completely kind of lost it.
I think that's expected.
Very much so.
Very, very sorry to hear that.
And I, for some reason, decided moving to Arizona was gonna fix everything. I don't ask.
Well, it's part of the path.
I was like, you know what? I'm moving to Arizona. Let's go. And went down there for a couple months, and that's where the don't take the bus. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Holy shit! You brought this whole long loop of a thread of a tangent back to the needle.
Yeah.
Don't take the bus.
Don't
Bus is
take
scary.
the bus.
It's like
it's horrible.
Like we
That's-
talk about a terrible moving alley for
Yeah.
hours upon hours.
I wanted to introduce Colt and introduce. He's had a crazy run the last 8, 9, 10 months, and actually a crazy 4 years. Him and I have been side by side for a while now, and throughout the work life and outside.
But he's
of work.
fucking made it.
And
He's here.
and he's here, and he's back in the
fucking
Pacific
here.
Northwest. And we were
So
driving back
happy to
home.
be back.
We were driving back here to this place we were driving back yesterday, and I looked at him and I was like, "So how was Arizona, man? How was it?" And he goes, "No, yeah, you had to come back." And he goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Why come back here?" You know, we were talking about the weather, we were talking about the traffic, and he goes,
You're bullshitting.
He goes, "It's home." I was like, "That's right.
It's the
You're a
PNW,
bear.
man.
You're a
Yeah,
bear.
come
You're a
on,
wolf. You were born
man.
here." We were both born in. I discovered we were both born in Puyallup.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Austin, Sir Austin Davis, where were you born?
I was born in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Born in Utah!
Land of the Mormons.
I tell you what.
PNW now.
Yeah.
PNW.
No, yeah, growing up in a Mormon family, that's where I was born in the good old fucking promised land. Fun fact, I can't remember the last study that was done recently, but I read one in I think like 2013, 2014, where like 75% of the population in Salt Lake City is related to one another due through Mormons just marrying friends and whatnot. So
yeah.
it's like this interwoven incestual spiderweb. Go ahead, throw facts at me, momos. I don't give a shit, man. You all live in a tiny cardboard box. Don't need to hear about.
Oh, Austin, man, you
Yeah.
should see the emails, man. People have been emailing
Oh,
me
Mormons
bullshit.
emailing you?
No,
wanna fight me?
not Mormons, not Mormons.
Dude,
Fans-
no more.
No. Fans and listeners have been like, Austin's full of shit.
Do it. I'm
Please.
excited.
Because you're always egging listeners on. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I
Great.
mean, I have gotten a few. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay. No, but
I'm
I
serious,
want
I'm
him to
just
be
kidding.
here. Challenge me, dude.
No, I know.
Test my knowledge.
I'm asked. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
asking
humble as
for it.
shit.
Let us know.
I'm
what
passionate
the fuck is
and
going
I'm very humble.
I did mention Austin, by the way.
I mentioned JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience, earlier, and that last episode I heard, the dude was talking about space, and they were talking about the planets and shit.
Yeah.
This is something I've been ranting about for a while now, and I used to say,
Aliens.
like, dude, or alien. No, as we were growing up, as we were in middle school, in elementary school, it's like, okay, there's 7, maybe 11 planets. And the stars
can't figure
are-
if Pluto's actually one of them or just a giant
Alright,
Cheeto floating
that
in
just
space.
pisses
Yeah,
me
we
off.
don't know if
I'm
it's a
sorry.
giant
It's
Cheeto,
a freaking plane.
Yeah, and then the stars are balls of gas burning millions of billions of trillions of thousands of miles away.
Traveling light beams in space
That's
that
right. And some of
penetrate
it's
your
in the-
eyeballs.
And then all of a sudden we're like, wait, actually, technically, some of these stars we see is light that's just now reaching this, and has already happened in the past. Whoa, mind fuck.
What does that mean?
Mind blow. And then we actually learn this. Oh no, every star in the fucking sky is a sun. That's what a sun is. A sun is a star. Every star we see out there,
Burning
in the
ball of
sky,
gas?
right
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
burning ball of gas. Like I said, what we were taught, what it is, it's a sun and has planets around it. Dude, how the fuck are those? How are we supposed to think that none of those other planets?
Are you trying to say they could seriously
Could have
say there's
habitable
life
zones.
out there?
Well, of course, dude. You
Slay it
know
on me.
what is it? The Doppler effect. It's called the Doppler effect. And so basically, through our telescopes, we'll see a sun, right? We'll see like a ball of light, and then we'll see a shadow pass by it, something through it. That's the planet. Right? When that planet passes by, the way that we can tell it's a planet is the way it's tilted and the way it goes by every time. There's all sorts of different techniques they can tell by viewing it this way. That's all we can do is look at it, right?
Yeah.
We can't go touch it, smell it, taste it, whatever. Go do
Right,
the test we have to do. Right? So we've been just guessing for hundreds and thousands of years. And so when you see it go by, the way that we can tell if it's a planet or not is if when it's rotating, if it's spinning like this, you can see it in the shadow, it tilting like so. If it tilts like that, it's having days. And then as far as the distance from the sun, of course you guys know about the habitable zone, right?
Yeah.
If it's in the right distance from the sun where it's not too hot, not too cold, then that could be a habitable planet. So let's take that fact. So we know that that's a possibility with every star. You look up in the sky, you see a million fucking stars. Now, whether it's in there, whether there's life like right there at a star that we can view with our naked eye, or it's like, God, just light years and light years and light years away. Who fucking knows? But do you guys think we're the only fucking ones? And if you think we're not the only ones, do you think we've made contact? When do you think we will make contact? Shit's been popping off, man. This
Dan,
has
that's
been
like a
big
two-part
subject.
question because
It's a
one,
big question.
one
That's
can
actually-
equal lead
I
to
wanted
the
to bring
other.
that to the podcast. I wanted to hear people's opinions and shit. It's a
So
cliche thing.
we're
to
wanting
talk
you
about.
to let us
Cliche
know at the
conspiracy,
Pacific
but what's up?
Experience what your thought is about alien life. Is it out there? And if so, do you think that we've had contact with it throughout our human history? Which there's a lot of arguments for both. I will say this. I think there's contact out there for sure. You'd be naive not to think that we're the fucking smartest, being.
Only ones.
Yeah. it's so stupid, and this is another
It's like
podcast
saying,
we'll get into, but you know,
one leaf
I
growing
think
on
religion
another.
became a really nice, easy way for people to be comfortable and not be perceptive and open, and also not take care of their responsibilities. And that'll be my thing on it. I'm not disavowing a God, but when we're talking about if we're the only people, like human life forms,
Yeah.
in this universe, in this galaxy, I think it's a crock of shit. I don't think we are. There's no way that we're the smartest. Absolutely
yeah, so
not.
you think there's other intelligent beings with
Oh,
fucking
fuck
arms
yeah.
and legs that have
And if we're gonna
inventions
lead
and
to
they
the
have
second
diplomacy
question,
and they love each other and shit, you think that exists outside
I'm
of
not
this
saying
planet?
utopian, but I definitely don't think we are the, top tier level of intelligence in the span of things that could be ever fucking spawned in this universe.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it just is naive. It's small minded.
I think a lot of people our age, our generation, agree with that, but I don't think anyone's saying anything about it because it's aliens, right? It's a
Well, the proof-
it's a non-fiction
The
thing.
proof is
Yeah.
covered in a bunch of military documents, a conspiracy, and like sort of I would say like conspiracy in terms of like YouTube rabbit holes. Like anybody can cut and paste a video about a bunch of different articles that aren't certified or shown to have prolific people vouching for them. And
What counts as proof to you then? And well, before we talk about what counts as proof, Colt, what do you think about the whole topic?
I think we'd be idiots not to think that there's something else out there. There's gotta be. Are you telling me
Probability says so.
that's all I'm saying. Yeah, out of the entire universe, you're telling me one planet has people?
yeah, especially
Are you
when
kidding
our
me?
capabilities, can barely map any of it. Similar to the ocean.
There's got to be something else out there, and they might not be what we think they are. They might be gigantic slugs. Evolution is weird like that. It doesn't mean that they're gonna have hands.
Right.
They might be a gas form. I'm sorry, I watched Star Trek growing up. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I definitely believe that they are out there, whether or not we've already made contact.
See
I
that?
don't know.
Do you guys see that
It
movie?
could be.
No, sorry, continue.
I was just saying that it is definitely possible that we've made contact, but I don't know.
I think it could be muddled.
What about all the conspiracies about all the times you've heard about contact being made? Is there one that you guys think that you've heard about that is real? Well, hold on, I won't jump in with the questions. First, before we talk about things that we think are real that have happened as far as contact and events that are famous throughout the internet. So, that's what we want. That's what we do on podcasts. We take things from the internet, we dissect the fuck out of it the best we can, whether we're accurate or we're not accurate, and we make sure we have a good time while we're doing it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if we are inaccurate, at least we had a good time.
Yep.
So it's a win-win. So, what counts as proof to you gentlemen?
God, I know of, and again, this always sounds like conspiracy shit, but so growing up Mormon, a lot of the Mormon families that I knew had people in the military.
Nice. By the way,
Thank you.
that's good.
People in the military that, especially during World War I, II, and going in through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, dealt with some very secretive programs. So I can only remember that it was through a Mormon friend, and I remember him telling me this at Boy Scout camp. Again, sounds far-fetched, but he talked about how his grandpa was in the Air Force and in Nevada when a lot of the UFO stuff was going on, and that his grandpa actually dealt with a downed craft working for the military, working for the Air Force.
You mentioned that in an episode before, and I wanted to point out, by the way, I think that was that, were you talking about the Roswell crash?
I think that I was about to say
because you said it was in New Mexico.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, man. So wait,
he
to
found
tailor that back. This just before you continue, that piece you're talking about that is the Roswell.
yeah,
crash.
Roswell,
The
New Mexico,
Roswell
I believe.
crash. That's fucking crazy.
And I think,
Okay, continue.
I'll look a little bit, but he found a
I could tell you what you want to know about the Roswell crash.
well, oh yeah, well, just actually better yet, yeah. You tell it for a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So the Roswell incident in a nutshell is so in the I believe it was 1947.
you Google that shit, let's see if I'm right.
Yep.
1947, in New Mexico, Roswell, New Mexico, actually right outside of Roswell, New Mexico, a flying saucer was spotted in the sky. It then crashed. Once it crashed, the United States Army arrived on the scene. The United States Army announced to the world and to the public, through the media, through the radio and newspaper and television broadcast, that a flying saucer has been spotted. Within the very next day, they took it back, sent out another correction to the media, to the television broadcast, and to the radio broadcast, saying it's actually a weather balloon. They made a correction when they said it was a weather balloon.
Project Mogul is what they called it.
Yeah, Project Mogul. Yeah. So now the people that were involved. One person that's very important to know who was involved was Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso. Philip J. Corso was the guy in charge, pretty much, of taking this craft and the beings that were inside of it, and finding out what it is. How does it work? Who are these things? What the fuck is this? And what you're saying about this story that you're about to tell makes perfect sense. Philip J. Corso then, on his deathbed, announced and made on a video. Everyone, you can look this up on YouTube. Just YouTube Philip J. Corso, and he tells you, oh yeah, there were bodies. There were three bodies. We pulled them out. They're 3 to 5 feet tall. There's stories of soldiers saying that they saw it, and because imagine when this happens, the army did the army have a plan on hey, if an alien, if they exist, crash, here's how we handle it. You know, no, they probably didn't have that, and it shows that they didn't. Now, mind you, after 1947, after this big Roswell crash happens, the people who were involved come out of the fucking closet, you know, years and years and years and years and years later. What was formed right after 1947? The CIA and the Air Force. The Air Force did not exist. It was the Army Air Force what existed during World War II. Now the Air Force exists and the CIA exists. And as you head from 1947, all of a sudden JFK's dad starts getting heavily involved, and then that takes off into space age. We then have the space race immediately following the crash of Roswell. We discovered night vision. We built night vision, which was claimed to come from the alien aircraft, along with computer chips. That's when we discovered how to build computer chips, motherboards, because we saw it in the alien aircraft. All this shit happens. Listen. We have an airplane take off the ground in what, 1912, right? The Wilbur Brothers or something, right? 1912, 1947, alien aircraft crashes. What, we have jets in the sky in the early 50s? Just like 5 to 10 years later, jets carrying fucking nitrogen bombs and shit, you know, after we already dropped the
nuke?
The nuke, yeah, you know, the United States dropped Hiroshima. So that, anyways, just to kind of tie in some of those other conspiracies, kind of mind-blowing things back to Roswell. Roswell is kind of, if you are a ufologist or whatever, if you're a conspiracy theorist, if you're into the UFO thing, Roswell is kind of the main base, the roots to everything, where it started. And if you're a really deep conspiracy theorist, and if you really like to question everything, I definitely had a moment in my life after looking at Roswell so much where I thought that Roswell was a fucking setup and was intended for all of us conspiracy fucking worm fucking sucking loopholes just to jump into that and be like, oh, what's this? And they actually had control of that the whole time. It could be fucking fake, but I don't fucking know. But that is what Roswell is. So to go to your story, Austin, yeah, just to back up what that is.
Back up the little train.
Yeah,
but yeah, so they've been involved in cleaning up the Roswell crash, and obviously you said the Air Force didn't exist, so he must have been the U.S. Army Air Force, but he definitely was smart, so an engineer or a scientist or some sort, but he was involved with recreating a metal material that this Mormon friend of mine, when he had graduated high school, he'd asked his grandpa or his grandparents for like what he'd been involved in to write it down in like a memoir book so you could read it. So this is recanting from him, but it was a metal material that was rigid and it was light, but it was rigid so you could fly it. I mean, it was anything they had ever seen, and yet he was able, when they were picking up, you could crumple it into your palm, and then when you released it, it went back to the form that it was like cutter shaped before.
See, that's just nuts,
that's
dude.
Weird.
And so the whole point was,
it's
and
like
it was
with
like
fucking steel.
When he was when he had been doing this, just like many of those people, and I'll be reading on Wikipedia. It's not saying Wikipedia's not wrong, but like a lot of these people that talk about witnesses, they had to sign a written document saying they wouldn't talk about this until on their deathbed. which
So they're allowed to on their deathbed?
and that's the thing is that
What?
if
That's why
you're
we're
saying
talking about it
and
today.
like you can say it's being top secret, but if there are things that people don't understand, literally in an early age where people are like, oh, this can't be like nobody should be able to talk about this.
Yeah.
So you make a document that says if you do talk about it, we're going to kill you. And that's what a lot of conspiracy theories are based on, is that there was information that, people, talked about that they either unwillingly or willingly, in collusion with the government weren't supposed to discuss. And once they did, they were killed very shortly after.
Right. Yeah.
But
that's
a
very
lot
common.
of this stuff from that Roswell incident seems to match up with that. And that's what was crazy. And, you could fucking talk about anything about that. But regardless, I think that we'd be naive to not think there's other smart beings in the galaxy that haven't visited us and I think are already here. It's sort of one of those things where here we are, and this is something that, again, was on the Joe Rogan Experience, but he talks about how, like, dude, we're smart enough to know, like, what's killing the Earth, how to be healthier, how to, like, we have the knowledge to know about these things, and we don't do them. And that is a form of laziness. Yeah. And that is something that will definitely lead, I feel, it'll fucking lead to an eradication. I don't care how rich you are. There is a tipping point where it's no coming back. I mean, no matter what fucking happens, I don't think if you have the most money in the world that you'll be able to sustain your sort of line of pure, intelligent, and smart people. So.
What do you think about the what do you think about all the UFO abduction cases? So so we were talking about, just to go back, you started talking about Roswell. We were actually trying to figure out what counts as proof. To me, what counts as proof is not a photo, not sound, not video. I don't necessarily count that as proof. I don't think in today's world, the technology we have, any visual or audio counts as proof of something. As much now, like at all, really, if you think about it. To me, what counts as proof is eyewitness, multiple, not one guy. To me, okay, just to tie back, I am religious. I do read the Bible. Events that happened, stories that happened back then, people say, how do you know it's true? Well, yes, there are parts of history that have been struck from libraries. There have been armies that have made sure that the knowledge of other armies' existence has been written from history, right?
Erased.
So history can be altered throughout time, especially without technology.
Yep.
Right? Well, to me, if thousands and millions of people eyewitness testimony to it, then it probably fucking happened. To me. So, for example, the big thing that was seen in the sky in Arizona, the Arizona Lights. Have you guys heard of that UFO sighting? Mm-hmm. Ufologists out there, as far as UFO sighting goes, this one's definitely in the top 5, maybe even top 3, at least in the United States. The Arizona Lights. That one to me is the most believable because you literally have hundreds of people claiming it, and then like. Do you guys know? But then the Arizona Lights went, and then when the governor addressed it, he was on stage. It was at this big fucking city conference, and I can't remember his name. And then he goes, "Okay, so we found out what that was in the sky," and some guy comes out in an alien costume, making fun of it. He goes, "Ha ha! Like here's a sense of we like to have a sense of humor," and everyone starts booing him because they're like, "No, that was fucking scary. There was something in the fucking sky the size of a fucking aircraft carrier." That was black and floating in the fucking sky, and there were little lights zipping around in the Arizona night sky, and so everyone gets pissed at him. Fast forward about 10 years later, and he admits, yes, it was a terrifying thing. I made a mistake by trying to make humor out of it. He goes, a lot of people were frightened, and I was just trying to lighten the fear, which is an argumentative thing too. I can understand that. Yes, Governor, a lot is pinned on you here. You're supposed to address pretty much not just your state, you're supposed to address the world here. This is huge, and you're not just addressing what you're responsible for. You are addressing the world with this. The way that you approach this will be your life. It will be the way that people perceive the whole alien topic.
When was it,
so
do you know?
Of course you had to. Just type in, so you type in Arizona UFO sighting. Dude, yeah, you're not going to see a picture of it. Yeah, you'll just see those lights. And there's videos of it, but mainly go to YouTube and type in Arizona Lights, UFO Lights Governor, or whatever, and you can see what I'm talking about with him going on stage making fun of it.
So, while he's doing that, have you guys heard of the thing with Hitler in Germany where he bought up the world's supply of mercury?
Go on.
He actually bought up all the mercury in the world pretty much, and was working on something like a flying saucer. Because when you electrify mercury, there's a chemical reaction that makes it, I believe it makes it almost weightless. I haven't looked into it for a while. It's just something that came from like way back in the day when I was looking into it. I share the same birthday with Hitler, so take it how you will. I'm kind of interested in the guy. I don't know if that's a good reason to research somebody, but
I don't think, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit in terms of there's a lot of bad people on this planet, and the things that they do are bad. It's not at all justifying what they fucking did. But regardless of what people want to say, there were a lot of things that unfortunately positively came out from what Hitler did, especially in terms of torture. A lot of vaccines, which a lot of medical procedures, which again, it's not justifying what he did. So all you
no, I was by the way, I was trying to link up with the alien thing. I don't think he could have gotten that idea. From
the mercury.
Else. Yeah, I mean, how do you all of a sudden think to electrify this chemical and let's see what happens. Like, you
gotta know though, he had a lot of scientists. They fastly developed a lot of things than the modern world. I mean, that's why it's sort of like we were lucky to win the war. I don't know if we were lucky to win it. I don't know if it was planned, but we got all the scientists.
Yeah.
Here in the U.S.
And I mean,
for God's sakes, they were making V2 rockets.
Oh yeah.
And we were like Indiana Jones trying to blow them up and stop them because we didn't know what the fuck they were doing. We didn't know how to get that technology, but we were just like, dude, this sounds terrifying for what we can hear. We gotta make our MacGyver Indiana Jones event to make it so they can't have it.
But no. Anybody can have everything with the technology I have at hand.
Hell yeah, man. That's just, that's how it goes. It's a snowball effect. We're rolling with this fucking technology. And I've heard a couple rumors out there, something like how the revolution will be podcasting. Some dramatic shit like that.
I can see it, dude. Live feeds, that's gonna be...
There we go.
But that's why we like to podcast, everyone listening, is because it's the last source of news that you can get now without a bias and without a fucking filter. Get off the Facebook, get off the screen, turn your music up. Listen, I heard the word podcast mentioned in the news in the mainstream media this week at least 6 times. They know it, and they're trying to get on there now. I'm hearing news stations promote their podcasts now because they're trying to get in there. So anyways, I'm getting passionate about the podcast. This is Pack X. We're going to go to a quick break, but you can tune in at pacificexperience.podbean.com without the motherfucking in there. And you can also email us pacificexperience@gmail.com. But we're heading off to a break. Thank you for tuning in.
Love it. We just gotta let him speak for just a second. Nothing but sweet love making music. I hope you're doing something sexual. Why listen to Pacific Xperience?
This is getting me excited. I'm getting a little bit too excited. But this is Pack X. Thank you so much for tuning back in. We're back from the break. Pack X is with you. You are with Pack X.
Appreciate you hanging on to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we want to thank you so much for the downloads.
But something I would like to bring up. Anthony Bourdain passed away.
Yeah, he did.
It was about a week and a half ago. I never really actually watched Parson though, but one thing I did watch is that through watching other people like Joe Rogan and similar to him, Anthony Bourdain was constantly used as a person on the show. on the podcast, on the episode, whatever it may be.
Did you say used?
Yeah, I mean, he was always an additive. He had his own show.
Yeah.
He got started. So for those that don't know who Anthony Bourdain is, don't feel bad because I didn't know a lot about him, but I just knew he was involved in cooking. But I would almost say his view on what he did was just this really grungy, visceral, sort of raw term on what it was to be passionate about something, especially something about cooking, the reality of the world and the situation, and then as he traveled to places, trying cuisine, he also recognized that, you know, he's traveling there and working for a TV show, so he definitely has privileges. He's not like somebody in the local community where, like, even though these dishes can be based off the terroir, the community that it's made in, they're poor. Like, a lot of them are poor, and that's a fact. And here he is trying all this stuff, and it just, something he talks about, it's just a really weird sort of worldview that when you're able to have money and television, you don't come, it's not saying he's privileged because he worked for things that he got, but it was just interesting to see that that's what he brought to Parts Unknown. I think that's what he was well known for, is sort of this fucking grungy, raw person. And yes, he passed away. He was hung in his hotel room. There's a lot of people that think that it was autoerotic asphyxiation, not that that matters, but I know he did, and not saying in terms of drugs, but he did have some drug use that was not like psychedelic. And that is very, I think, typical. You look at a lot of rock stars.
That's sad.
That happens. Like, and especially a lot of rock stars in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, maybe slightly before that, but where heroin was really popular, meth and speed were really popular, and it's just that matter of fact of like getting a high off something even if you're not using a drug. And definitely sex is an addictive high for some of these people.
Dude, that's a fucking wormhole I don't want to go down.
No,
but
we're not going
drugs
to,
are a bad thing right now in the United States.
Because he was
it's fucked up.
He was one of those, like, he lived that lifestyle for a little bit. But it's sad. People toast, make food, do things for it because he's a great fucking person. Watch it on Netflix. It's well deserved.
I will because you said so, Austin.
Dude,
I take your advice,
some
man.
of the places
I trust you.
nutty. What people eat are insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I haven't been someone to chase after it. Yeah, and I can't say that I'm someone that was a big fan. But I've seen bits and pieces of it enough to know that it's definitely, when you do watch it, you're not wasting your time, and it is not boring, for sure, when you are watching some of the shit that people go through to eat what they eat and the stuff that they are eating. Yeah. People freak out over their McDonald's order.
I almost want to, like, start a little, like, not argument, but it will be an argument, I feel, especially here in Washington State. And it's something that I've listened to many, many times about.
Get to
where, like, being vegan and being vegetarian is a very first world thing.
You mentioned that on the last or second to last episode.
It's like I want to get into it because I want to hear people's responses, but I say that because my personal experience with growing up on a farm, growing up with a lot of siblings, and definitely, like, regardless of my mom and dad's professions, we were poor. We were poor, period. I mean, one of the funniest jokes that I ever heard when I was young was, poor people go hiking. You know why poor people go hiking?
What?
Is because all you need to do is, like, you drive people to a place and you have food and water and you just go walk around. It's not like a hotel. It's not like you're going to a water park. I mean,
you're not dissing poor people when you say poor people.
No, but it was just a funny thing.
I go hiking. I'm poor.
It's very common in the especially religion, Mormon, where people have a lot of kids, have a huge amount of siblings. Like, you can't pay for a bed.
How many siblings do you have again?
I have blended 7, but through the whole blended family, I have like 11 siblings. I grew up with 9 of them that I saw consistently. But I'll tie this together, but, like, when you have a lot of kids, you can't pay for a fucking hotel room for 9 kids plus 2 adults. Like,
right.
That's a lot. You can't take them out to fast food. When I would go to fast food, my dad would be like, you guys have $2 each. And the funny part is that as we started, like, not that we got fast food a lot, but we learned very quickly, like, okay, like, younger brother likes fries, but I like a double cheeseburger and I want this. and we started combining like money to fulfill each other's needs. Like if somebody was feeling like chili and chicken nuggets, but you wanted a quarter-pound cheeseburger, you could combine your $4 and get all three.
Teamwork, yeah.
So,
Right.
That's excellent.
But so that was funny to hear, and I feel it definitely is true because it's not something you need a lot of money. Now there's a lot of money in hiking, per se. But so in terms of first world problems and vegan and vegetarianism, it's not at all dictating saying it's not people shouldn't do it. That's not what I'm fucking getting at. I just feel people that can say that have a privilege.
Yeah.
When people like to bring up the argument like that's what people of old ate, not entirely true. People of old were nomadic, and depending on the accounts of history, but a lot of people ate meat. Like meat was a celebrated thing. Game meat was a celebrated thing, and the reason it happened in winter, it was easier to kill game because through the cycles they went through, and in terms of nesting, herding, all like it all correlated with correlated, not collided. Making up fucking words back here.
Yeah,
Correlated with the seasons,
Yeah.
to where they were all together, and it was that slowdown. And it was either you got meat for that winter and it lasted you, or you didn't, and you better had some reserves because you couldn't survive. Because you can't, in those harsh environments and through those times, you had to have a lot of fucking fruit and berries and vegetation and substitutes to survive you through the fucking winter without meat. And it's just like something that I think is often overlooked.
I think so too.
I
think people should challenge themselves on it, man.
Oh yeah,
they should challenge themselves on like.
Let other people talk.
Yeah, well, no, dude, no. Hats off to you because I've seen you do that. I've seen you like and not like be vocal about it either, to where you're looking for attention for it. Like if a lot of people do out there. Listen, when you do something like this, when you challenge yourselves, keep it off the motherfucking social media. I didn't put anything on social media. I went and lived out in the damn woods for 5 days with my brother and fucking John Shatigel. Fucking Johnny boy. Yeah, and so we went out, and dude, check this out. We were out there, the amount of food we fucking brought with us, and we went way out in the Wenatchee National Forest. And it was right during like April time, so winter was just dying off. So, spring was, right there. Yeah, has yet to come. And so there was no bugs. There was barely any wildlife. There was definitely a cougar. There was definitely some bears. However, what was nice is there was no bugs. There was no rats. There was no mosquitoes or anything like that. No snakes. That was nice. So, anyways, we were out there for the amount of time we did, and with the amount of food we brought. So, tying back to food, man. I didn't really appreciate food the way I did until this trip. And I've been in the military too, where you've been tested before with hunger, right? And so out here, the amount of food I brought for us, they didn't bring any food. I packed all the food. Everyone kind of packed their own thing to contribute to the team.
Okay.
And so we definitely prepped right, for sure. We definitely knew what we were doing. We were armed. We were, we are trained too. Some of us are trained in certain things. We definitely did the trip well and safe. Things went great. But I tell you what. Oh my God! I tell you what. The amount of food I brought. If I would have brought any more, it would have been too much. If I would have brought any less, it wouldn't have not been enough. I brought just the right amount to where we were sharing a can of chili each night. So we take one can, and then we take a packet of fish or a can of tuna, if you will, that, and toss it in with the chili and cook that. I can tell you all sorts of details about this trip that's just like reminds you of like Castaway or like The Revenant, and you're like, fuck yeah, it's badass, it's fun. But when we drove about 3 hours back in town, the scariest thing about this, other than we don't have cell service, is that if something does happen, the axe hits your fucking hand. We had weapons, we had bullets. Fucking God forbid something happened with that. Anything happens to you, dude, we're hours away from a hospital.
Right.
You're not going to get professional medical attention within 30 minutes.
No.
Something detrimental happens, you're done after 30 minutes. So that was the only really scary part about it. But that's also the thrill about it. We drove about 3.5 hours back into a town where there's food. I ate so much fucking food that day, and for the following week, let me tell you this, dude. We went and sat down at this restaurant. Everyone's like looking at us. It's like a small town. We go and we sit down. We're covered in just you can just imagine what we look like.
right? And what we just smell like, we're just terrible. We sit down, dude. I ate the full Grand Slam breakfast. Then I ate a burger and fries. Then I had a shake. Then we went to a gas station where we gassed up and got stuff. I ate an entire bag of chips, an entire ice cream. I ate an ice cream. I ate a corn dog, and then a Reese's peanut butter cup. And then a full pack of sunflower seeds on the way back. Then I went and got a 10-piece from McDonald's by the time we got back into town. So, yeah. I ate so much fucking food.
Your bathroom experience the next day must have been
horrifying. It was terrible. Dude, it was. Here's the thing. I didn't shit that entire time we were in the woods. Yeah. I was like, dude, I don't know why, man. Lord. I would go, I'd light a candle, I'd like try to like do some meditation shit just to get my asshole moving, man. It was terrible. It was terrible. But dude, I could tell you all sorts of stories about that. But I appreciated food. You can look at my fridge right now. I have a bag full of food of leftovers and it says donate on it. I have a group of people around where I work, where I drive around, and they hang out on their fucking corners, and I throw them my leftovers from dinner here, or dinner or lunch at work.
Wow.
Just because, dude, if it's going in my fucking trash, I'm someone so passionate about that. A lot of you listeners have heard me say this before. A third of this world starves to death. A third of the food in this world is thrown away. What kind of fucking species are we? So we let that happen because you work and you don't. I work and you don't. Look, my thing is look, work hard, make your money. You get what you deserve. You don't work, you don't get shit. No one deserves to starve. No one. No one deserves to be cold.
I would agree with it.
No, and I think that is the first step. That is not calling us a civilization is an understatement. The first step that we have to do as a species on this planet. That is the first thing we need to do is address that before we can do anything else. Before we can have our power. And what I mean by power is this. These sources of energy. We've talked about this on this podcast several times. Free energy, how it exists everywhere, and we are free energy. We are energy. Being free spiritually with DMT through natural shit in the fucking grass that's in our fucking brain. We have so many levels. We have so many chapters that we've yet to reach as a species. We have so many ways of leveling up that we still yet to reach. But the first thing we need to do is address the fact that we are killing ourselves off because of something that we invented. Currency. Currency does not exist in nature. It does not. What exists in nature is the smarts, right? Evolution. Austin, we were talking about this before, how we're mites on the ball sack of Earth, how we're just just blobs of jelly.
It's true, people.
We don't have claws. We have our inventions. We have our weapons. Those people who try to take away the right to bear arms in the United States, you're literally just declawing us in the wild. That's all you're doing, is you're taking away our claws and throwing us out in the wild and saying, no, just trust the hunters with the guns. They'll take care of you. Okay, well, we don't have our claws. That's literally what you're saying to do, because the hunter feeds us and protects us from the rest of the creatures in the wild when you're actually part of the wild.
Yeah.
And you just need to keep your claws on and stay out there. Anyways, I'm going off on tangents, but to tie back to really where I was going with that is we have so many places, so many things to do to level up as a species. We have to address the hunger thing first. Tying back to the aliens, the fucking what's out there, are we alone? Dude, I think that there's species out there that are advanced, that have reached that. And I'm just wondering, what the fuck do they think of us? I'm embarrassed as a species. If there are intelligent life that are looking at us through a fucking telescope like, oh,
Probably just watching.
or they're watching, here's the thing, I can tell you this much. If they can eliminate us, like if they're more powerful than us, if they're a type 2 or type 3 civilization, right? Or even a type 1, we're not even a type 1 civilization. Someone is protecting us because we still exist. If someone wanted us dead, we wouldn't be here. So we're here for a reason. Something's going on. What's our fucking purpose? Are we doing it right?
Plague comes, man.
Dude, someone
Swallows are sold,
got a
dinosaurs
case.
cloned.
I still can't believe
Someone
somebody
got a case.
actually got a case of that.
There was a case.
That's-
By the way, listeners, here we are on June 19th, 2018. Someone got a case of the bubonic plague in Europe somewhere.
I still don't understand that. The anti-vaxxers, thank you. This is all I've got to say on that. Like, come on. For the love of God, this is why you vaccinate
Give
your
your
children,
kids
people.
shots.
Come on.
Look up Austin. Look up on YouTube. Type in. This is what we're doing before we're gonna go take the break. Type in Arizona Lights UFO governor.
Oh yeah. One more thing. Have you heard of the ping?
Ping?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
So there was a ping in the ocean, and it was heard literally around the world on sonar.
Have you heard of those sounds in the sky? Oh my god, like the trumpets going off in the sky and no one knowing what the fuck it is.
What?
Dude, you gotta look that shit up on YouTube. Anyways, hey, scroll down. So, that's the interview. Maybe, oh, there it is right there. Right there. Phoenix Lights UFO was real. Arizona governor admits. Click on that. I don't know that he admits that, but here, turn that shit up.
Mike Symington is now a businessman. He was the Republican governor of Arizona for 6 years, elected when the first George Bush was president. Now, a decade after leaving the State House, he takes me to a Phoenix park and discloses something unlike anything uttered by any other high-level U.S. politician.
If you had been here 10 years ago and standing out here and looking up there at the lights and the view, you would have been astounded. You would have been amazed.
Governor Symington is referring to what is now known as the Phoenix Lights, an object videotaped by many and seen by thousands over several nights in the Arizona sky in 1997.
Major sighting here.
It was described by witnesses as larger than a football field and silent.
It was a giant V, all right?
This is
And the
fucking
right
CNN
side of the V went
they're
over
probably
us.
not
The
gonna
left
show
side was like a couple
the
blocks
governor
over.
getting yelled
Just
at
didn't know
for
what to
having
do.
the
You know,
fake
it's just
alien
like-
costume on.
My God, how big is this thing?
The great state of Arizona, Fife Symington.
The former governor, a Vietnam Air Force veteran, had never publicly acknowledged seeing it until now.
And I suspect that unless the Defense Department proves us otherwise, that it was probably some form of an alien spacecraft.
So why didn't he say anything then?
Well,
Partly, he says, because he didn't want people to panic.
And I think as a public figure, you have to be very careful about what you say, because people can have pretty emotional reactions. And I said my goal wasn't to try to stir the pot.
And he went to humorous and controversial lengths not to stir the pot. He held a news conference after the Phoenix Lights to announce the mystery had been solved.
And now I'll ask Officer Stein and his colleagues to escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party. Don't get him too close to me, please.
In the alien costume, the governor's chief of staff.
This just goes to show that you guys are entirely too serious.
UFO enthusiasts were not amused, especially since the governor was believed to have seen nothing. But now he's coming out.
The lights were really brilliant, and it was just fascinating. I mean, it was enormous. It just felt otherworldly. You know, in your gut, you could just tell it was otherworldly.
Wow. Symington will be talking about this.
Wow. He believes that.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
so he came out
He
years
has also
later on
talked
it.
with an organization that wants UFO information more out in the open.
Is there?
He probably went to correct it before someone had to come threaten him, so he was never probably threatened.
Yeah.
They're probably like, don't talk about this, because they saw that he went and corrected it and didn't talk about it. Like, oh, he's okay. And then he's like, oh, spilled beans, and they're like, fuck.
Here I am.
Now we're gonna tell you. I
30
bet
years
you won't
later.
say a damn thing about it now. I bet you've been talking to you about it now. This fucking Men in Black shit. That apparently that shit's real.
Yeah.
Apparently that Men in Black shit is fucking real, dude. There's all sorts of fucking videos out there and shit. But
Nowadays, I'm not surprised from anything with what we have going on.
yeah.
Yeah, what we create.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot with this topic that I want to continue talking about. We're running short on time for this episode. This is episode 10, and this episode fucking flew by.
Oh yeah.
But we have a lot to talk about with this subject. There is actually some people who are going to be coming on, and we're trying to reach out to a lot of other enthusiasts out there, and conspiracy theorists, and ufologists. There is a whole community out there, and we want to hear from you. Listen, there's a lot of bullshit, and there's also a lot of truth that's actually thrown in your face. Actually, it's called disinformation. They blend about 30% of the truth with 70% bullshit, and we're here to cipher that out and figure out what the fuck is truth and what isn't. And like I said before, if we're wrong and we are completely off course, well, at least we're having a good time while we're trying to figure it out. Yep, and that is what the Pack X Pacific Experience podcast is all about. And but mainly, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can reach out on Facebook at PackX Podcast. Tag us at PackX Podcast. Oh, and guess what? I have some good motherfucking news. We're coming out on iTunes.
Fuck yeah, that's fucking great news.
This is PackX. I'm Lloyd Smith.
I'm Colt Williamson.
Swole Scout Austin Davis reporting in.
And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.